So here's your Shelf 4 overview for Chapter 4, Shelf by Shelf. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Captain Foley, and this is Shelf by Shelf Chapter 4. Continuing ongoing series where I look at everything on my shelves. Today we're looking at Shelf 4 of my Star Trek shelf, and there's a lot of technical manuals. So we're going to get into it and take a look and see what we got. I'll first show you an overview of the shelf so you guys can get a feel for it. And yeah, so if there's anything you like, make note and check, kind of scrub through the video if that's all you want to see. But glad you're watching. Thank you so much. Be sure to check out other videos in this series, as well as other videos that I do, because I do a lot. So let's get into it. All right, as you guys can see, there's everything there. So let's get into it. All right, so we'll start out by looking at the shelf, the books that are on top of the other books. I hate having to stack books on top of books that are in a bookcase, but sometimes space, that's all it allows. So up first is the Star Trek Visual Dictionary, and this is one of those ones by DK Books. Really great pictures and some really great stuff in here. As you can see, it's very visual. It's a visual dictionary. So lots of really cool Trek stuff in here. Going into like the Cardassians as well as like Captain Janeway, very relevant right now with Prodigy season 2 up. So lots to look at, and this is a couple years old, so a lot of this stuff, there's been additions to this, of course. One of the problems with buying any kind of dictionary for Star Trek, there's always new content coming out, so it's never really complete. So, but that's that, and that's pretty awesome, if I do say so myself, which I just did. Next up is Star Trek: The Next Generation on board the USS Enterprise D. This comes with the CD-ROM, and it does have some interiors of the ship. CD inside, there's the CD right there, but it is in fact a book that kind of takes you on a guided tour of some spaces on the Enterprise D. Here's an overview of the ship. You got the full MSD and profile of the ship. Yeah, and it talks about the characters, and this is Main Bridge Part 1, main engineering, and you get to kind of look around these areas on the DVD, the CD-ROM. So there's the main shuttle bay, and talks about the shuttles, and there's the auxiliary ships. 10 forward. So it covers kind of everything on the Enterprise D, all the main spaces. So, and ship services, stuff like that. So very cool. If you get a chance to pick this up, this was done by Michael and Denise Okuda, and I think they did a fantastic job with this. So if you ever find this out in the wild, make sure the DVD is in there, or the CD-ROM. So it's a 360 degree CD inside. So if you get a chance to pick this up, make sure that the disc is there, but it's definitely worth it. This one is a great one. It's heavy, it's big. Star Trek costumes. Just goes through all the costuming from all the different Star Trek shows. Talks about, it shows all the concept art for characters, as well as the final Angel 1, who can forget that? All of the concept artwork and final costuming. Very detailed book, great read, and definitely some pretty things to look at. So, and after that is yet another, there's probably a few of these, Star Trek Next Generation Technical Manual, which gone through before, and I will go through again, because this was like one of my Bibles growing up as a kid. I would always be looking through this and reading how systems worked, hence why Trekyards was created. So this one is in fact signed by Rick Sternbach. I had him sign it a number of years ago, but it's always great to have a Rick Sternbach signed technical manual. So you should get Michael and Denise Okuda to sign this as well, because they both worked on it, or they worked on it together. So technical manual, everybody's got one, I assume. You know you do. So now we're going to start on the actual shelf itself. Yes. Star Trek, The Art of John Eaves. John Eaves is fantastic. I haven't had him sign this yet, but he did give me some book plates, which are signed by him, which I haven't even put in here yet, but I see John all the time, so hopefully I'll get this signed soon. I forgot to take it to Wonderfest this year, so this is all just John Eaves concept art. I'm gonna take that dust jacket off. You see some really cool John Eaves stuff. And he does more than just ships, as you can see. He does photography, Johnny's Atomic pinups. He does pinup photography, which is great because Trekyards incorporates pinups as part of our design language. So check out the links down below. There are links to the Teespring and the TeePublic where you can get yourself some cool Trekyards pinup art. But yes, these are all the various designs that John has done for all of the shows that he's worked on. And some have been used, some haven't, but it's great to see the process and the design philosophy of Mr. John Eaves. So, highly recommend picking this one up. All right, up next is The Art of Star Trek. This one I've had for a long time. I love that cover shot of the Enterprise firing of phasers at an asteroid and the way it was done. This is by Judith and Garfield Reeves Stevens. Talks about them on the back. They are the ones that helped write the Shatnerverse novels, William Shatner. So anyway, so yes, a lot of great artwork in here from the early 60s with Matt Jeffries to TNG here, Andrew Probert, John Eaves, of course. There's some Rick Sternbach stuff in here. Just talking about the designs for not only ships, but for props and, you know, character designs. Goes through all the movies up to Undiscovered Country and Generations as well. So shows off all of the art design that went into Star Trek, which there's a lot of. And this book was originally $65 Canadian, which is $50 US or 35 pounds in the UK. And like I said, I've had this one for a long time. One of my favorite books. Haven't looked through it in a dog's age, but anyway. Star Trek, The Artistry of Dan Curry. Visual effects, weapons, and wonders from TNG to Enterprise. That's what all the stuff Dan Curry has been involved with. Again, these dust jackets make this show format a little bit hard to do, so I have to come off. So yeah, just Dan Curry stuff. Captain Proton. That's TNG stuff. The Wreck of the Raven. It's got Bakula, Enterprise stuff. The Gorn from Inamir Darkly. Lots of artistry of Dan Curry. Very visually awesome book. This, and I love this cover without the dust jacket on it as well. But yeah, very talented people involved with Star Trek, thank goodness. And Klingon anatomy. No, they don't have to, despite what Discovery says. But that's another story. But anyway, there you go. The Art of Dan Curry. Highly recommend that one as well. I highly recommend all these. These are all fantastic. Next up is Eaglemoss. These are Starfleet ships from 2294 to the future, so from Discovery. And again, these are just the Eaglemoss magazines, all in a collected work, which is great. So if you don't have the ships or you're missing a magazine, they're all in here, all of the magazines for those. So if you want the book without the ships, you can get these, you can find them. But beautiful orthos of ships, histories of the ships, any facts, any behind the scenes stuff, it's all in here. These are great. So this is the updated and expanded one. I do have the other one as well, I believe. So, but yeah, nice thick books. This is not only heavy duty content for this shelf, but also literally heavy books, every one of them. I'm gonna be worked out after this one. Here's another Eaglemoss one, Star Trek, the Borg and Delta Quadrant races and ships. It just goes through all of their Borg and Delta Quadrant stuff. There's a lot of Eaglemoss ships from Voyager. Yeah, so they're all included in here as well. This whole library of Eaglemoss books was fantastic. So Star Trek, the official Starships collection, designing starships from the Kelvin timeline. So this is all the JJ verse or the Ryan Church Enterprise iterations with the correct colors, which looks so much better. I wish they wouldn't have changed it. Don't listen to JJ, but whatever. So anyway, this is all the Kelvin art design. And there are some really good stuff, really good things in here. I do like a lot of the Kelvin stuff, despite what a lot of people think. I do enjoy it. I'm just not a huge fan of a lot of the choices they made. But definitely some interesting stuff in here. And I'm sorry for the glossy pages. They don't show well with this lighting necessarily, but so yeah, designing Kelvin ships. Nice. I do like them. Utopia Planitia. This is the Constitution class version. This is a nice kind of, feels like a leather bound book, but it's got the Connie on the front, the banner. And this is from Modifus. It's for the role-playing game is what it is. So here's the insert that came with it. And basically it's for role-playing. It's to show you ship stats and learn things about the different ships you see in Star Trek. Saladin class. The Jenolan, the Sydney class. That was one of my favorite designs. Pathfinder class. So yeah, basically tells you about ship operations, shipyards, building of starships, all to help with your gameplay. There's the Intrepid, some Star Trek Online stuff, Regular 1 Science Station, and then Case 7. So it goes into starbases, starships, that kind of thing. You can get this in different formats. There is a Next Generation one that I believe has the Enterprise D on it, and I think there's another one as well. So different covers, different spines, but I really like the Connie, so this is the one I picked up. It's got that nice metallic blue sheen to it. So yes, great book. Gotta put this back in the back now. So our next offering is Star Trek Voyager, A Celebration. This is another one from Hero Collector, which is Eaglemoss. And it just talks about the legacy of Voyager, essentially. So talks about all the characters in detail, kind of their adventures. Get some concept art from Rick Sternbach there of how the Voyager could have looked, and all the design processes that went into making the sets and exteriors and interiors and all that stuff. So visual effects. This is basically just everything you want to know about Star Trek Voyager, essentially. Species 8472. Yeah, Voyager, A Celebration. The hardcover, not a fancy cover, but it's fine. I find a lot with these Eaglemoss books, while they are hardcover, it's kind of a flexible, it's not a typical hardcover book. They're a little bit different, but yeah, if you ever want to know anything about Voyager, this is a great book to have. Star Trek, the Official Starships Collection, another hero, like an Eaglemoss collection, but Hero Collector, Designing Starships Volume 1. And this is more just concept art and things about designing starships from the different series. There's a lot of information in here. If you love starships, these books are for you. Complete with concept art and really nice paintings. So, would highly recommend. Highly recommend. And again, the covers on these aren't anything special when you take the dust jacket off, but so the Hero Collector books, if you can find them, grab them. They're well worth it. You will not be disappointed. Here's the continuation, Designing Starships Volume 2. Here, of course, we've got Voyager, again, with more Rick concepts of what the Voyager could have looked like. But same thing, just different takes on designing these ships for the shows. There's a really great one by Doug Drexler of what the Enterprise J could have looked like. It eventually became the Congo class, I believe. But much better. That's much better than the final version for the J. Come on. Secondary hull and all that. But yeah, beautiful artwork as well in here. Paintings. What could have been. Maybe what should have been in some instances. But yeah. Designing Starships, Volume 2. We also got Star Trek, USS Enterprise, 1701 and the 1701A. Again, Hero Collector. This is everything you want to know about the Starship Enterprise, the TOS one, from the cage to the series. You got your different computer panels, how things work, why things work on a starship. Really beautiful illustrations in this as well. Cutaways of rooms, weaponry, tools. It goes right up to the Enterprise A through the motion picture to Star Trek 2. Three, four, five. Well, we'll go through more. Obviously, go through like Star Trek 6 because it's the Enterprise A in here as well. So the refit, of course, went through till Star Trek 3, right, where it got destroyed. So anyway, yes, everything you want to know about the Starship Enterprise. Great book, very thick. Again, it's got the same kind of wonky, not really hardcover, but hardcover. Let's see, is there any special? No, it's just the simplistic cover art there. Voyager, exact same thing from Eaglemoss, but everything you need to know about the Intrepid class. And there's the hollow camera that the Doctor uses. So yeah, the ship, the equipment, the rooms, the tech. Really, really great edition. Gotta be honest, I haven't even looked through this one since I got it. I need to do that. And of course we have the Enterprise D, same thing. Hero Collector, a detailed look at Captain Picard's ship from the TV series. More than 200 artworks and technical drawings. It's just the same thing, just how things work, why things work, cutaways. This is just fantastic. Everything you need to know is in here. Or watch Trekyards because we explain it all too. So, but yeah. Next, continuing our look at Eaglemoss Hero Collector's books, there's 5 more, and then we'll be done with those for now. So But Designing Starships, the Kelvin Timeline. This, I believe, is the same book as that last one, just in a little bit of a different format. Could be different. Actually, I don't even know, really. But anyway, Concepts for the Vengeance. Yeah, I think this is a duplicate, just with a little bit slightly different cover. Designing Starships, Volume 3. So this one's Volume 3. Okay. Yeah, this is Volume 3. The other one's not Volume 3. It just says the Kelvin Timeline. Interesting. All right, so those were out of order. Fixed now. Discovering new things myself. All right, so Starfleet ships 2151 to 2293. Thinner than the last one. This isn't the updated expanded one. So this goes from Enterprise up through the timeline to the movie era. And we got Starfleet ships from 2294 to the future. So this is like the TNG era to, well, as far as they got into the future. I believe, are the Discovery designs in here? What was the Relativity? But really great ships in here. This is all basically just TNG stuff. Going up through like the movies and whatnot. Next up is Federation member worlds. So we got Vulcan, Andorian, Medusan, like Zero, Prodigy. This very ship was seen in season 1 of Prodigy. But yeah, it talks about the Vulcan designs. Any member worlds of the Federation that we've seen over the years, from Andorian to Maquis, I guess. But yeah, good stuff, including the holo ship and civilian ships kind of thing, I think are in here as well. So I love this one from Remastered TOS. I believe it's the Aurora. Also Klingon ships, the Klingon fleet. Again, Eaglemoss, same as their other ones. With, you know, when you get the ships, you get the little magazines with all the information and the orthos for the ships. They're all in here. Even Discovery ones. For some reason. But yeah, it goes into the classic ones as well, like Bird of Prey and Case of the D7 and Forcha and Negvar. So I think that's the last of the Eaglemoss stuff for right now. Let's see what else is next. Next up, we got the Jackals. Jack Hills. Science fiction data sheets. There's a bunch of volumes on this. I've only got one. He was actually at Wonderfest a few years ago. I didn't have enough money. I got this one. I picked this one up, but there's another 6, 7 volumes, I believe. And it's literally, this is the Trek compilation one. He also does other sci-fi franchises, but he does like blueprint style. So different Star Trek ships. These are like from the Romulan War, the original Romulan War. Interesting designs, and even classic ones. But a lot of really great supplemental material. Yeah, so this is all Romulan War stuff. And we get actually some Romulan Dreadnought stuff. The Romulan Klingon ships, like the Stormhawk. The Tholians in here. Information on Tholian webs. So These are great. This is, like I said, Trek compilation #1, technical readouts. I gotta get the rest of his stuff. So comment down below if you know any of the Jackal stuff. I also thought it was Jackal, but it's like Jack Gill. Anyway, so let me know. We got Star Trek, Where No Man Has Gone Before, A History in Pictures by J.M. Dillard. This is another one I've had forever and a day. And it's just talking about the shows and the movies. You know, nothing super special about that one, but I've always loved the cover of this one with the refit. It just looks so good. Love how it kind of ends with that shot of McCoy and Data walking down the hall. Kind of like a handoff to the next generation. This one I picked up at a used bookstore. It's Star Trek, the role-playing game, core game book. I've never actually played a Star Trek role-playing game, for the record, but this has a lot of information about how things work, including some really cool technical stuff, which you might not think of. So if you've ever played a Star Trek role-playing game, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. But it goes into the different ships that you can use, Daedalus and things like this, the Ranger class. A lot of really cool stuff. Interesting take on Star Trek ship designs. So definitely some cool stuff in here. I'm trying to find the one thing I really wanted to show you guys. If I can find it. All right, here it is. I've always loved this particular image. I don't know why, but even in the back of the book, it's kind of like the Star Trek encyclopedia in a way, because it's got the different species you can encounter, pretty alien dogs, salt creatures. Tells you all about them, so you can use them for their role-playing needs if you need to. So this is an old one. Not sure what year this is from, but 1999. They've since updated, like the Modiphius. But Star Trek Collectibles book. This is a soft cover, but it goes into a lot of the collectibles that I actually have. But it's just a book on Star Trek collecting. And this is from, I believe, the 90s. Talks about different prices for things. And this was the way I was introduced to a lot of Star Trek collectibles. Like, I'd see them in here and I'd be like, ooh, that's interesting. But yeah, so it's all black and white. It's not a super impressive book, but it's a good one to have for, you know, various reasons. I got these two, the 40 Years of Star Trek, the collection, the Christie's auction. I got both of these. I picked these up in Vegas last time we were there in 2019. I was with Sam when I got these. And yeah, it's all the stuff that was sold at the Christie's auction. So it's great just to have this visual record of costumes, props, models, ships, scripts. So much cool stuff in here. Like, it's just unbelievable. So even if you can't buy them because somebody else scooped them up, you can at least go through and see. It's like a history of all these stuff from Star Trek, and it's really great to see these and kind of read about them. There's brief little descriptions of each. I'll have to see what that is in a second here. But your chance to own Star Trek memorabilia. And if you couldn't, you get the book. So the thing that fell out was this. This is the gentleman I bought it from. He does great Star Trek costuming as well. But yeah, this is just talking about science fiction collection. The world's biggest private science fiction collection. Visit Florida, USA. 1,500 original exhibits. So if you've ever been there, let me know. Would love to hear about it. We also have Star Trek versus the Transformers. This is IDW animated series Star Trek meets Transformers. So you got the Enterprise with the Autobot symbol, because it actually becomes a Transformer. Fortress Maximus, Fortress Tiberius, can't remember. I have a 3D printed version of it downstairs. Transforming Enterprise. So this is really great if you love Transformers and Star Trek, which I happen to do. This was a nice little crossover. I'll have to show you the transformed Enterprise. Hold on. Because I know some of you might not have seen it and are curious. There he is. It's a full-size Enterprise that transforms into a Transformer. Controlled by James C. Kirk as well. So, all right. So next up, we've got Star Trek: The Complete Unauthorized History. This just goes into a lot of the comics and different collectibles and stuff you can get. Toys. Talks about the magazines, conventions, different merchandising, Romulan Ale. I actually have a can of that downstairs. Well, it's empty, but I do have a can. And just the collector's world of Star Trek, all the things, just a history of Star Trek. Unauthorized history, but still, really awesome book. And get a sense of some of the merchandising on the back there. So, classified. Oh no, you can't look at this. 2150 to 2370 Federation Technical Survey, Starfleet Volume 1, a comparative analysis of Federation, Allied, neutral, and adversarial technology spanning the first 220 years of the United Federation of Planets. So it's like a lot of the material that I grew up with. It's kind of like the Jackal stuff as well, where it shows you this Star Trek technical manual. It's just got a whole bunch of cool stuff in it. It's back when that was the Avenger class. Interesting bird of prey, a little bit stubbier, but some cool Klingon designs. There's a D7, weapons, Romulan versus Klingon, shadows, work bees. Yeah, interesting stuff. Starfleet Technical Manual. This is the Franz Joseph one. This is the one I grew up with. This is my copy. This one is signed by Walter Koenig, James Doohan. How cool is it to have Scotty have signed your technical manual? And William Shatner. And of course, this is, of course, the Bible, as far as I'm concerned. You can see how worn the pages are from me thumbing through this over the years. Also got like a misprint, I think, because I got a bunch of these pages, those colored ones. But yeah, including my favorite ship, the Federation class, the Dreadnought. So if you don't know the technical manual, I'm sorry. You should get one. I've shown off one before because I have picked up another one, like a hardcover version. But this was the one that I grew up with. This is my childhood one, and I love it. Starfleet Medical Reference Manual. My brother Steve had one of these growing up, and I thought it was so cool. But they're hard to get. They're hard to find now. So I did find a good mint copy of one, and it just goes through and talks about medical things with each species, from Andorians to the Gorn to the Tribbles to humans, Umans, Klingon anatomy. And yes, again, they don't have two because Discovery is just stupid. Tellarites, Vulcan, brain sizes, craniums, hearts. Talks about Tholians and the Excalbians. Some non-carbon-based life forms. It goes into a whole bunch of really cool detail. I'm glad I finally found one. It talks about Denebian slime devils in here as well, things like that. And it's got this came with it, this shiny medical reference manual that was on the cover when I bought it. But of course it doesn't belong on the cover after you open it out of the cellophane. So fantastic. Some of the new Star Trek writers and producers should probably look at that and read some of it, but whatever. This I found at a used bookstore downtown, City Lights here in London. Starfleet Command Admiral Hikaru Nugara? Admiral Nagura. There we go. Chief of Staff. Couldn't say his first name. It threw me off on the second name. And this is just, it's a little bound one, but it's just basically like Xerox copies of things. Talks about refitting the Constitution class, talking about all the upgrades that were made from the original to the refit. It goes into some technical drawings and things as well. How airlock hatches work, spacesuits, uniforms, duty uniforms, different ranking for the motion picture, the belt buckle, the motion picture tricorder, the communicator, the wrist communicator. So yeah, this top secret. You guys can't see this. Sorry, I showed you. We've got the U.S. Enterprise Officer's Manual, classified. Another old publication, just... There's this, the Ion Pod. Again, it goes into weapons, stations. A lot of this seems like repeated material, but some of them are slightly different, and some have better artwork, and get some funky other ships there. Interesting designs. Klingon language, Romulan. Eugenic Supermen, Saviors or Dictators? Newspaper article from the New York Times from September 8th, 1992. Interesting stuff. It's some things like this, the older stuff, would be definitely worth their own video on, just so I could go through it. And I probably will do that. I mean, comment down below if you think I should, but I think I should, so. Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise by Shane Johnson, now Laura Johnson. And this is also my childhood one. And goes through all the refit stuff, talking about how things work, the ranks, the departments, the rooms, field equipment. One of my favorite phasers there. Engineering, shuttlecraft, auxiliary ships, auxiliary craft like the Work Bee. Again, a technical dream. I would have loved to have Scotty sign this one, because this is Mr. Scott's Guide to the Enterprise, like he wrote this. So didn't get that sign though, but this is from Star Trek. Includes material from Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home. Yep, it says that. You see the Enterprise at the end, right? The Enterprise A. So it kind of gets into that. That's one of the classic art prints of the Enterprise refit, which is great. So this is literally the 23rd century officer's Bible. This one is Starfleet Dynamics, created by Strategic Design. This came out after The Undiscovered Country. And this has got some really cool stuff in it. Different planetary systems. Again, different information on how Starfleet works. We got how mega phasers work, how the navigational systems work, operations, get some different ship designs. There's a lot of cool stuff. See what I mean? This is the technically speaking shelf, because there's a lot of technical manuals and stuff on here. It's too much information almost. Phasers, the boatswain whistle, whatever the hell you want to call it. Security department. Anyway, lots going on with this. These Starfleet Dynamics ones are really cool, so great. Another TNG technical manual. Do I have to look through this one? Probably not. But this one is from my first girlfriend, Jennifer Hoke. To Stewart. Love Jennifer Hoke. It's also signed by Michael Okuda and Rick Sternbach. So this is a complete one. The other one just had Rick Sternbach's. This has both. And this is my one from childhood growing up. So there you go. All right, so here's one I found a few years ago. This is History of the Vessel Enterprise from 16th to 24th century. Got the clipper ship, the space shuttle, the carrier. So again, it goes through the history of each of the vessels, kind of important moments in their service history. Goes through all that. There's like a timeline, and we got different pictures and technical specs for each shuttle, the orbiter, and we got the different enterprises, from like the ring ship to the shuttle to those. To look, this is an awesome anomaly. Enterprise B doesn't quite look right. It's not like John Eve's Enterprise B. And you got the Enterprise C. This is before we had seen Andrew Probert's Enterprise C or Rick Sternbach. So this is an odd anomaly in the land of Enterprise history. So it's just great. And talks about them from the different movies and different facts about them and different things that they did in specific episodes or movies. So Enterprise, a prestigious name that evokes high adventure in the minds of most. There have been over 150 craft to carry this glorious name, and in this square-bound volume, you get the individual history of each one. From schooners, blimps, space shuttles, aircraft carriers, and of course the flagship of Starfleet in the 24th century, the amazing genesis of a legend is chronicled. It says years of painstaking research went into this fine, comprehensive effort. Anyway, so weird anomaly with those Enterprise B and C, but very cool nonetheless. And of course, we got the Haynes Manual, USS Enterprise, Owner's Workshop Manual, Ben Robinson, Marcus Riley, Technical Consultant Mike Okuda. So Ben Robinson is, of course, he was the head of Eaglemoss. So this has a lot of the same stuff that the Eaglemoss book on the Enterprise had, as far as cutaways and technical things. So you get each of the enterprises listed in here, and it kind of goes over some of their tech and features. And Haynes manuals are really, really great. So there you go. But that's not all. We have the Klingon Bird of Prey Haynes manual. This one is signed by Rick Sternbach, because of course it is. And it's the same thing, just goes through how the bird of prey actually kind of functions, or would function. Where are the nacelles? They have nacelles. How the cloaking device works. How the guns work. How, you know, it's just a comprehensive look at the bird of prey, essentially. And the Burrell and the Covert class and its size difference. Much like FASA. FASA had 3 different sizes of bird of prey. One being the greater bird, one being the Burrell, and I forget what the other one was. I always forget what the other one was. There was a great bird, which was the big one. Anyway, Star Trek Star Charts. This just follows the courses of some of the ships throughout the shows. Kind of explain the planets, the different rating system for planets, and different navigational stuff. And then star systems, it's also got, like I said, it kind of maps where the Enterprise went, its course. So basically just a galactic map, but pretty awesome, actually. We got the Star Trek Deep Space Nine technical manual. This one is by Herman Zimmerman and Rick Sternbach and Doug Drexler, with special introduction by Ira Stephen Bear. Had Rick Sternbach sign that one as well. I need to get Doug to sign this, actually. Rick also drew a little planetscape in the bottom there for me. So that's pretty awesome. But this goes just through everything that's on Terok Nor and anything in Deep Space Nine, anything about the Bajorans or the Cardassian technology, how the upper pylons work, all that kind of stuff. And in the back here, also covers, of course, the Defiant. In the back, it's got the different ships that is used in Deep Space Nine, different battles and whatnot. So, anyway, great book. Unlock the secrets of Terok Nor. It says. Okay, we're coming to the end. We only got about 8 books left. So, Star Trek Spaceflight Chronology. Fred Goldstein, with illustrations by the brilliant artist of the space age, Rick Sternbach. Now, this is an older book, and it's really cool. It's about the history of spaceflight, the evolution of spaceflight. It's going to be hard for me to show you because this is a pretty minty copy of the book. So it talks about the history of spaceflight. And Rick Sternbach did a lot of the illustrations in this, of course. And he was kind of impressed that I got such a minty copy of it when I had him sign it. To Captain Foley, make it so, Rick Sternbach. I know all these Rick Sternbach ones were not signed on the same time. I see Rick Sternbach quite often, so. But yeah, it goes through all of the different ships and space age before a lot of Star Trek actually kind of retconned it. That looks very Battlestar Galactic-y. But that's the Bonaventure. Stellar Exploration talks about the Vulcans and just different spacecraft throughout the ages, the ring ships. With the refit. So, pioneering days, major events, the turn of the 21st century, the birth of the Federation, the first Starship Enterprise, Starfleet, and Trek into the Stars. Official logs, Starfleet Command, super warp designs, speculations on the future of space flight. A lot of this has been retconned and kind of made non-canon now, but this is the shit I grew up with right here. There's cool stuff in here, I gotta say. So, yeah. But yeah, a lot of it's been kind of erased from existence, as it were, with actual canon now. So, we got Star Trek Chronology, the history of the future. This is one that's absolutely outdated now, because new Trek is made, new events happen that would be inserted into these different. This goes through the timeline of Star Trek and different characters, what they're up to when the different episodes happen. A lot more episodes, a lot more things going on. It's kind of like the encyclopedia. Once you get one, it's in paperback, it's outdated pretty much instantly because there's always new stuff happening. So, Star Trek sketchbook for the original series. This is really great. It's got a little delta there with the Connie behind it, and you open that up. What? But yeah, this is original series sketches and production design, concept art, ideas, planetscapes, different designs for like shuttles and stuff, little mock-up models that they made. Again, back to like costume design, prosthetics. There's a lot in here. A lot in here. A lot of great stuff. Good book. So, next up, Star Trek Concordance. This is really great. This has got a wheel there where you can turn it to select episode, like The Trouble with Triples. Tells you it's TT is the call letters if you want to look it up. Star date, got the star date right there, and then this is page 63. So you can look up any episode of the original series by spinning this, which is neat. And then yeah, it just talks about episode summaries, what happened in the episode, blah 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 blah. Good stuff. Old book, but it's really kind of cool. Now there is this inside it. And this is like a, what is this here? Star Trek Make a Game book. So it's a game. I'm not even sure I knew that was in there. Not sure if that came with that book or not, if I'm honest. So let's get that folded back up so we don't wreck it. The Star Trek Compendium, revised and updated, now includes material from Star Trek V. The Final Frontier. Complete reference book including a show-by-show guide and over 125 rare and exciting photos. So again, just talks about the episode guide with some interesting photos. Some you might have seen, some you might not have seen. But it basically is talking about each episode. And it's been revised and updated to be released after Star Trek V. So anyway. There's a lot of compendiums out there. Star Trek, Where No Man Has Gone Before, History and Pictures. This is the exact same book as the other one that was hardcover. This one just has both versions of the cover, because you could buy that other one with the refit, which I did, or the Enterprise D. This is the soft cover of it, so it has both on the front. So it's the exact same book, just in a soft cover format as opposed to hardcover. Star Trek The Next Generation Companion. This is the same kind of deal as that compendium. It just talks about each of the episodes in TNG and gives you photos. It's the internet before the internet is what these things were. So, and lastly today we've got Star Trek Phase 2. The Lost Series by Judith and Garfield Reeves-Stevens. This just talks about the production of the never-released Star Trek Phase 2 television program that eventually became the motion picture. So from set designs to props to story ideas, scripts. There we go. To production photos and different concept art. How things might have looked. Got the Enterprise and dry dock there. Engineering. And just talks about what happened with the last series, how far into development they got, how it eventually became Star Trek the Motion Picture. So, yeah, that's that. So, that is all for Shelf 4, technically speaking. So, a lot of technical stuff there. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And, yeah. let's move on. All right, that was a long one, but we've got through it, technically speaking. Sorry, I'm just that joke's never going to get old. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this. I'll give you a preview of Shelf 5 or Chapter 5 right now, so you guys can get a taste of what's coming up next. All right, so here's a preview of Chapter 5 of Shelf by Shelf. Shelf number 5, paperback Star Trek novels. Those are stacked 2 deep, so there's going to be lots to look at. And also some QMX figures, which we'll take a peek at, and some other surprises. So there you go. There is Shelf 5. The next chapter coming out soonish. All right, there you go. If you saw anything on that shelf, and there's a lot of cool stuff on that shelf, if you saw anything there that you'll be interested in, keep in mind that the next chapter will include those. They are stacked 2 deep, those paperbacks, so there's stuff there that you didn't see, which you will see, of course, in the next video, chapter by chapter. So stay tuned. I will include the playlist for the complete Shelf by Shelf series right over here in a minute, but I want you guys to comment down below if there's any books that you saw there that you have or you're interested in, or something you didn't know existed. I want to hear your thoughts. I really do want to hear from you guys, because that's what makes this channel go. What makes it important is you guys. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit like. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, which is the Captain Foley personal channel, as well as the Trekyards main channel. And by all means, like I said, check out that playlist for Shelf by Shelf over here. Until next time, I'm Captain Foley. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, everybody.